Hey y'all, we're Country Cool Comedy, and when we're in town, we watch Lady J.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Love her.
Jay Jenkins, you're sick for this one, baby. What? Hey, come on. Lady J's montage is a show to watch for the mom and the children and the pops, giving life to the community. In the community, there'll be more unity. Sit back, relax, take a look. Give me 28 minutes and you'll be hooked. Lady J's montage. Lady J, what? Lady J, what? Lady J, huh? Lady J, what? Hey, hey, hey. Lady J's montage is a show to watch for your mom and the children and the pops, giving life to the community. In the community, there'll be more unity. Sit back, relax, take a look. Give me 28 minutes and you'll be hooked. Lady J's montage. Lady J, let's go.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Lady J, and I am with the Dr. Chavis. Yes, she is the best. You are in for a treat because Dr. Doneva Chavis is so talented with making dolls, and they are unbelievable. So you just wait. In the end, I'm going to show you some of her hard work, and I want her to explain the process and tell us, why did you get into this?
Well, I wanted to find a talent that I could use with my hands to make money. And I literally said, God, show me what I can do with my hands to make money. And it was like in the middle of the night, boom, dolls. And I started looking online and I'm like, I can do that. And that's how it started. And I made my first doll for my mom because she liked making dolls. She used to make Mr. T dolls.
Okay. I pity the fool, Mr.
Yeah,
T.
that Mr. T. And she used to do it kind of like a Cabbage Patch doll. It was soft all over. But I wanted to have more expressions, and I wanted to learn how to make the dolls look like babies that people have. Your daughter, your niece, your son. And so it just kind of progressed from there. And then I started sculpting them with clay.
Wow. See, that's talent. And you know, there's a company called American Girl, but these dolls right here, when you see them, you're going to say, this is unbelievable. I mean, they look so real. So what is the process that you go through?
Well, if I am going to buy it from a kit, which is like a blank canvas, it's just plastic. The first thing you do is stop it from looking like plastic. So you paint the inside. And the blood flow inside of our bodies actually gives us a tint. So you want to do that to begin with. Then you actually do the veins. And it's a process that you do the veining with. You paint them and you rub them back out so they appear to be right on the surface, just like our real veins.
They are so real. I'm telling you. It's so how long does it take you from beginning to the end to make a doll? And what is your process for ordering the dolls and so forth? Just give me all the information.
You can find the kits online. There's several distributors. I am very careful because I don't want certain chemicals. You have to be careful because you do heat these. So you do want them to be healthy for the people who buy them. And people have allergies, so I'm very careful to pick things that will not cause allergies. They are not toys, they are art.
Okay.
Most people will get them to place them somewhere in their homes. Even if they buy them for a child, it's that doll that sits on the bed. It's not one that ever will go in the toy box because it takes about 40 hours to do the hair alone. So 2 weeks is the average time if you work every night for anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. It's a process that takes quite a lot of time because it's very detailed.
And I believe that. I mean, you have expressions on these dolls that you just want to pick them up and love them. I mean, and how many people or where do people order them from? Where do they live?
Well, I have a store online called DonniesDolls.com, and you can see that they've been ordered and sent all over the United States and Canada. And they vary in price based on the time it takes and the realism. And then a lot of times people will bid on them if I put them on eBay, so it drives the price up. But I do teach classes. Okay. And I have taught my grandchildren, or 2 of them, how to make dolls for Christmas money. And they've done that for a few years. One in elementary school who's now in high school. Even one who was a football player at Northern Nash. He didn't want the dolls, he wanted the money. And he was tired of his sister and his cousins holding up bills, and Grandma, I want to make some dolls. So he sold one or two.
Okay. So you teach the classes, and how many people are in a class, or do you limit it because it's so customized?
I do. I usually only do 6, and I would do them at a hotel meeting room and set everything up, and we would work from 8 in the morning to 8, or sometimes as late as 10 at night. But I would give them the basics so they could take it and start their own business, or they could just do it for fun. So you get the basis in that. But I will be teaching at Edgecombe Community College in May, and it will be a 3-week course. So you could sign up, and for 3 Saturdays you come from 10 in the morning until 2.
Okay.
And it includes your kit, your paint, your hair, your weighting, because these babies don't just look like babies. If it's an 8-pound baby, it is an 8-pound baby when you hold it. So it feels real, and it's proportionately weighted. It's not just one spot. The head, the limbs, everything is correctly weighted as a real baby would be.
Wow. So I'm just curious. Have you ever sent one to a celebrity?
I can't really say I have, but you would be amazed at who buys them. Men buy them almost as much as women.
Are you kidding me?
They will buy them as gifts for women usually, or to capture a moment. I've had one grandfather call me almost at 11:30 at night. My granddaughter was just born, my first granddaughter. I am texting you her picture. I want a doll from this moment. I have had men to buy them as their children are leaving home to go to college. They will give that newborn back to their wife as a present for birthday or anniversary.
That's monumental.
And the wives love it. We actually get calls sometimes from rest homes, especially when the moon is full, because it's a scientific fact that when you hold a baby, it does something to make you relax. It's a certain chemical the body will release that will actually calm. So sometimes I would get calls, can we have a couple of babies to hold for the weekend to calm patients? And men or women it worked for. And then I've had a couple of psychologists to ask me to make babies that look like a child, so that if a child was lost suddenly, siblings can't handle that. But if they gave them a doll that looked like that child that was lost and gradually take it away, it gives them a chance for closure. So I have sent them to New Jersey for that reason.
That's so interesting. I never thought of that. Now, who are some other people that have requested these types of dolls that we probably wouldn't think they would?
Stage producers, movie people, they need a doll. It is very hard to work with a live baby on a set because you can't control the crying or the feeding time or the changing times. But if you have a doll that really looks and feels like a baby, you can actually maneuver it better. And then when you want the sound effect of tears or crying, you can do that.
Add it to it. Wow, multi-talented. Who would have ever thought making dolls? But these are just so different. They're so lifelike. They're beautiful. They are weighty. Thought I was holding one. It just wasn't wiggling. So it does work.
And they are, I've actually had someone ask for one for a nativity scene for a church. So it depends on what you need. We can make it, and you do various complexions, sizes. The newborns are very popular, but I have done some that are like 2- and 3-year-old size that stand up, or you can prop them up.
Okay, so next I want you to show us the process. Take us through the process.
All right, I'll be glad to. Okay, normally when the kits come, I'll order it. This is a blank kit. The features, if you were going to do a look-alike, you look at the distance between the eyes, the shape of the nose and mouth, and try to match a kit to match the real photo of a child. If I were sculpting this, which I have clay and sometimes start with just a basic head and then try to form it to look like the picture. But it's usually less time consuming to do it this way. So the kit comes and you can see it looks like plastic. So the first step is to make it not look like plastic. And we do this by I use Genesis heat set paint, but you put a solution that looks like a bluish purple inside, and you move it around and paint the inside of the doll kit so it takes away that plastic look. See how the difference between the two? And the next step is to actually do the veining. And a lot of times I will just study photographs of real babies to decide which way the veins should run and where they come close to the surface. And literally you take a brush with a very, very fine point and you paint the veins in using that same blue paint. And then you take a sponge and you buff them, as we say, buff them out. Once you buff it out, it actually gives the appearance that the veins are actually right under the surface. So right now, a doll at this point looks pretty much like a zombie, but you do every limb that way. You would put the purple on the inside and swish it around. Once it's covered well, you kind of let it dry and place it in the oven. You cook the dolls at 260 degrees for 8 minutes, so it sets the paint into the plastic. And you need to keep your room very well ventilated. That's why I have extra fans everywhere. And I have the room with 2 windows, so I literally open the windows and pull air through because you want to stay healthy when you do this. The paint is also very safe to use. There is no scent or caustic smell with any of the paint or thinners. So you are very conscious of what you're taking into your body when you do this. But you do layers of paint with makeup sponges. And you use the makeup sponges because they have little holes that give you the impression of pores and textures on the skin itself as you paint. So you don't want a smooth surface because our skin really isn't smooth. But I pay very close attention to things like the fingernails. And you can see, you still see some of the veining in the dolls as you go. And once you get your doll completely, after several layers of paint, you cook it between each layer. And then you look at the complexion you want. So if you want to make this darker, you start looking at the photographs that will show you where shadows would fall. And then you make that complexion a little bit darker. And the paints are Genesis heat paints. And they come in all kinds of colors for whatever complexion you're after. And a lot of times I actually will mix it if I'm doing one that actually is a particular baby. So if I wanted to do this doll, I would study how much pink, how much yellow, how much purple, what you're actually seeing you want to recreate. So it's not just one color, even if it's a African American baby, it's not just brown. You've got yellow, you've got pink. I see all that in there, and you do that in gradual layers with your sponge or your makeup sponge. And you look at the details. The complexion changes from the hand to the face. Incidentally, this is Charlie. She is currently a sophomore at North Nash. But she learned to do dolls, and her first doll she completed, she was 8, and actually sold it to a lady in New York for Christmas money. So she was very happy and very successful. She used to help me a lot when the doll kits would come in to make sure they weren't damaged. We checked them. You don't want any oil on them. She would take the Dawn dishwashing liquid and give them a bath for me before I start painting, so they would take the paint film. Once you get your doll the complexion you want and you've cooked it all the times, you start working with the body. And the body is a soft body. And it's set up so you can connect your arms and legs either with tie backs or string. And I like the tie back because they hold better. They hold a lot better and firmer. And you can still move your limbs around, but it doesn't give up. So basically you would put the doll limb in and hold it tight once it's in with the rim that's there. But this is where you start weighting it. You use knee-high stockings, or you can cut up old stockings, but I like new ones because I don't want any fragrance or any body oils or anything on them. And it's worth buying a pair of stockings to cut up to use. But you put your weighting actually in it. So you would take your stocking and you would fill it with the weighting that you're going to put inside the baby. This is just, you find at Dollar General when you do your floral arrangements. You usually put this in a vase to stick artificial flowers in. It's very heavy, so it works very well for weighting the baby. And if you're just going to weight the limb, you physically pour it down in the limb to the point that it creates enough weight to match that you're wanting the baby to weigh. You put a plug in it and glue it shut, and then when you're actually attaching it to your body, your soft body, which you stuff with cotton, that's how you fill up your baby, and you put one of the same inside the baby's body. So if it's going to be a 6-pound baby, you distribute some in the head and plug it closed. I usually still use a stocking, and then I do the same in the body, and then you just put it right in the limbs and weigh it as you need it. That is what you would do, and you're almost done if you have the closed-eyed baby. For the open-eyed baby, it's a process that you turn the eye inside out and literally slit the side of the eye socket and implant your eyes. And a baby can look so different based on whether it's blue eyes, green eyes, and it doesn't matter with the complexion. You can do a very, very dark African American child and make it look totally different and very interesting by putting in blue eyes or green eyes. And these are just plastic, but you can get the very nice ones from Germany that are glass. But these I like because they're easier to work with. And you put them in through the baby's neck and adjust them the way you need them to be. Then the process of hair. Before you cook it, after you've cooked it and you're not going to put it back in the oven, we do rooting, which is a very delicate process. These needles, I always say they remind me of fishing hook because they have little bitty tiny hooks on them that will take 1 or 2 hairs in at a time. And you take a hair in and it leaves it. Once you've covered the whole head, which takes about 40 hours, even for a moderate thickness of hair. Now if you do a very thick hair baby, it's going to take even longer. But I order mohair, goat hair, and it's very soft, and it looks a lot like baby's hair. It's very soft, it's silky, and you can get whatever color you want. But if I were to sit here and do it, it takes about 40 hours. You're just taking 1 hair at a time and putting it in the baby's head. See, I've already put those. Can you see that? It's very fine. That's like 4 hairs. So if this baby is fully painted and I'm rooting the hair, I would literally be putting 1 or 2 hairs in at a time. So this is the process that if you like knitting, crocheting, and doing things with your hands, it's going to take a good 40 hours to do a whole head of hair. But you always want to look at the baby's picture, so you're putting the hair the way hair grows. And things that we take for granted, we just do it. When you get in one of the classes, we look at not only tone and color, but just the way our bodies function, which way veins flow, all kinds of things that you have to consider. Even the way your hair comes out of your head is part of this process that as you put the dolls in. I love to sit and watch sports on Sunday. I like to get my dolls almost done, so I'm rooting hair on Sunday while I'm watching NFL or NASCAR. So I can sit and watch TV and just root hair. And you have to think of it as if you're doing a blanket or Afghan. You're not going to finish it in 20 minutes. That's a process that you're going to do over several days or several hours, and just set aside that time and work it. But it's well worth it once you finish. And I'm going to pull this right back out. But if this were ready to go to someone, we would then actually glue the hair from the inside and then put your weighting in the head to match your baby's weight, and then close this head up. And we have plugs that we use to do that as well. But the hair is fun to work with. It's very silky. It feels really nice. I don't get the hair from the beauty salon shops because that's usually much coarser, and you want hair that feels like newborn. And this is goat hair, and it does. It really does. When you want to use something that looks more like African American hair, you have all kinds of consistencies that you can use to capture what you're after. And to give you that look that you might want. Girl, you would not believe how much people pay for these dolls.
Yes, I would.
But that's how I took Charlie to Paris, on doll money.
Wow.
Let me share a funny story about these dolls. The best and most detailed conversations I've had are with morticians. They are fascinated with how I capture the skin textures and how I can blend it with the paint and make it look like makeup. So a lot of times when I run into my friends that are in that profession, they go, let me see your most recent dolls. Tell me how you did this. I even had one to ask me would I like to help them with makeup in their profession. I said, no, I'd rather not. But I have done dolls of deceased babies when people need them or want them to help with grieving. Sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes it may not be, but it depends on what their doctor says. But it's very interesting because it does lead to very interesting conversations.
Golphin. I am an actor, writer, director, producer, and author. I have been in several independent and mainstream films, television shows, and stage plays, including Denzel Washington's The Great Debaters, which was produced by Oprah Winfrey, some television series for HBO, and countless short films, web series, and feature-length projects. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I went to the Philadelphia High School for Creative and Performing Arts, but most of my family comes from the Carolinas, South Carolina to be exact. I also have a lot of family in North Carolina as well. I have worked on countless productions in the Wilson, Raleigh areas throughout the last several years. I am a graduate of St. Augustine's University, where I earned my bachelor's degree in theater and film. I went on to earn my master's degree in screenwriting from Spalding University in Louisville, Kentucky. A good friend once told me that education is something that no one can take away from you. When you become educated, it makes you wiser. It makes you more intelligent. It puts you in a position to think differently and hopefully contribute to making this world a better place. It's vital that we always try to carry ourselves in the best manner possible. Now look, we're human. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes, you make mistakes, your teachers make mistakes, your family makes mistakes. But at the end of the day, we all should strive to be the best versions of ourselves that we possibly can be. Because character counts. How you treat someone counts. You should treat others as you would want them to treat you. and we should all want to be treated with kindness, compassion, love, sensitivity, and care. It is vital that you are a good listener. Listen to your elders. Listen to your teachers. Listen to your parents. Listen to your friends. And sometimes you need to listen to yourself. If you think you might be interested in the arts, whether that's being an actor, a writer, a cinematographer, a director, a producer, a set designer, someone who holds the microphone, and they call that a boom operator, you don't have to wait. You can start right now. Learn how to write a script. Get your friends together and use your cell phone or your tablet, your computer, something that has a camera on it, and make a movie. You can do it. I know there are a lot of subjects in school that you might think, I'll never need this when I grow up. I won't need to know this kind of math or this bit of history. But you never know. You never know. If you grow up and there comes a day where you decide, I think I'm going to write a show about people that solve mysteries using math. Well, guess what? That math that you thought was so boring in school, that math that you thought you would never have to use in real life, it could come in handy for you to write your script. So if you start thinking about things from that perspective, I think school and other aspects of life could be even more fun. See a television show or watch a play. I want you to focus on everything that you see and everything that you hear. If you're watching a movie and someone's walking through the house and it's a mystery, do you hear footsteps? Do you hear the floorboards creaking? Those are all things that you need to pay attention to. What was the lighting like? Was it dark or was it bright? Where was the camera positioned? Was the camera up high looking down on the characters, or was it down low looking up at the characters? And how did that make you feel? What kind of music was in the scene? Believe that you can do whatever it is you want to do, and then work hard. It is my pleasure and my honor, and I hope that I've inspired you to go after your dreams. Think big, do big, be big. You can do it. I believe in you. You have to believe in yourself.